We're gonna feed it 100 grams of filtered water. It has to be filtered, and then 100 grams of flour. This 1:2 ratio that I put at the bottom of the screen, this would be the point in which you would utilize that. So the 1 ratio would be 50 grams of starter to 100 grams of filtered water, and then 100 grams of all-purpose unbleached flour. I've been doing this for a hot minute, so I don't have to measure. I can just guesstimate to where it is. It does not matter what brand of flour you use as long as it is unbleached. So you're just going to mix that up really good. Now you can leave it in the jar, but my starter has been in this one for about 3 to 4 days, so I'm putting it in a new clean one. And you're just going to scrape all that goodness out of the sides. So since I got a new jar, I'm also going to get a new clean lid. And this is important. You're going to want to have it marked in some way so that you know when your starter has doubled in size. So I used to use a Sharpie. You can use a Sharpie and write the time and do a little line, or you can use a rubber band, or if you see my other starter on the back with the purple lid, there's a ribbon on that one. It doesn't matter as long as you know where it's at so you can tell when it's doubled. You also want to make sure that it's not on a cold countertop. That's going to keep it from being warm and doubling quicker. Doubled in size. So what I'm going to do now is get a bowl and a lid. The recipe that I use for a loaf of bread calls for 3 cups of bread flour, 1 1/4 cup of water, and then a cup of starter. Once you have your starter and your water mixed together pretty good, you're going to add it to your flour. You can use a fork. You can use whatever you want to use. I have this little tool that came in a kit and I've never used it. I just find that the fork works best. However you want to do it, just make sure you mix it up real good. Okay, so when it gets to this type of consistency, you're going to want to cover, put it away for 30 minutes. All right, it has been 30 minutes. All right, once you add your salt, you're going to want to mix it together really well. Make sure that salt gets incorporated throughout the dough, and make sure you wet your hands so that the dough doesn't stick to your fingers. Once that salt is all mixed in, then you're going to let it set on the counter for 1 hour. After 1 hour, then you're going to do your stretch and folds. You're going to do 4 sets every 30 minutes. Literally just going to pick it up, pull it over, stretch and fold it over, rotate your bowl, and do that 4 times. All right, so for shaping, you're going to want to try to pull this into the best rectangle that you can get without ripping the dough, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Once you have it in a semi-rectangle shape, you're just going to flip your bottom to the middle and then flip your top over that, and then you're going to roll it from one of the sides all the way over. All right, so the next morning, you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 450. I also go ahead and get my parchment paper ready to go. Then you're gonna need some type of tool to score your bread. When the oven is ready, you're gonna pull your loaf out, and then you're going to set it on the parchment paper to score it. I put a lot of flour in the banneton because I didn't want it to stick. It was fresh out of the wash. So there was one spot where it was really heavy with the flour. So I'm just going to rub it in so it's not thick on that one spot. And a little hack, you can take your banneton basket and put it in your freezer and use it 2 or 3 times before you have to wash it. Putting it in the freezer prevents mold and bacteria from growing. All right, so with the open bake method, you have your 2 pans in the oven already. Those have been preheating at 450. You're gonna put your bread on the top. I need to get ice, so I'm gonna close it up so the heat doesn't come out. You're gonna put the ice on the bottom pan to create that steam effect. After 25 minutes, you're gonna wanna take the steam pan out and then bake it for another 20 minutes, but watch it after 15 because it could burn. When I first started doing sourdough bread, I was using a Dutch oven, and I'm gonna tell you, switching from the Dutch oven to open bake has made a huge difference in the way that my loaves have turned out. Now, I am not a professional sourdough person at all. If you have any questions about hydration levels and all that, I have absolutely no idea. I am just a regular schmegular mom who enjoys baking with sourdough and just wanted to put together a simple instructional video because it is really intimidating, but once you get started and do it, it's awesome and it's so rewarding. Another tip, if you're not going to use the whole loaf, slice it up into pieces and put it in the freezer, and then when you're ready to use it, you can pull one slice at a time, let it thaw, and it tastes just as fresh as the first day.